Home alone. It was a quiet, rainy Friday night, and Emily was excited for some time to herself. Her parents had left for a weekend trip, and she had the whole house to herself. Wrapped in a blanket, she settled on the couch to watch a horror movie. The soft sound of rain tapping against the windows made the atmosphere cozy, and everything felt perfect. Halfway through the movie, Emily's phone buzzed. It was a text from her mom. Just checking in. Everything okay? Emily smiled, quickly typing back a response that everything was fine. As she hit send, a faint creaking sound came from upstairs. She paused, but brushed it off as the house settling, or the wind outside. After all, old houses made strange noises. But the creaking continued, slow and steady, as if someone was walking upstairs. A wave of unease crept over her, but she tried to push it aside. It was probably nothing. Suddenly, there was a loud thud from upstairs. It wasn't subtle or distant, it sounded like something heavy had been dropped on the floor. Emily muted the TV, her heart racing. She listened intently, but the house was quiet again. Feeling nervous, Emily texted her best friend. "I think I heard something upstairs. I'm kind of scared." Her friend replied almost instantly. "Are you sure you're alone?" Emily felt a chill run down her spine. She was sure she was alone. She had locked all the doors and windows earlier. But now doubt started creeping in. Then she heard a dragging sound, soft but unmistakable, coming from the staircase. Her breath caught in her throat as she realized the sound was getting closer. Grabbing her phone tightly, she stood up and slowly moved toward the hallway. The air felt thick, and her heart pounded in her chest. When she reached the bottom of the stairs, she froze. At the top of the staircase, barely visible in the dim light, was a shadowy figure. It was tall and thin, with unnaturally long arms that seemed to stretch toward the ground. Emily's stomach dropped, and for a moment she couldn't move. Suddenly, the figure darted down the stairs at an unnatural speed. Panic surged through Emily, and she bolted back into the living room, slamming the door shut behind her. Her hands trembled as she fumbled with her phone, quickly dialing 911. The operator's voice answered, 911. "What's your emergency?" Before Emily could respond, the door rattled violently, as if someone was trying to force it open. The handle twisted back and forth, and the fear in Emily's chest swelled. "Hello," the operator repeated. The door burst open, and the shadowy figure appeared in the doorway. It had no eyes, just hollow black pits where its eyes should have been. Its long, bony arms reached toward her, moving slowly, deliberately. Emily dropped her phone in terror, backing into the corner of the room. She was trapped. The figure moved closer, and she could feel the air growing colder around her. Just as it reached out to touch her, there was a loud knock at the front door. The figure stopped, turning its head toward the sound. In an instant, it vanished into thin air, disappearing into the shadows as if it had never been there. The knock came again, more urgent this time. Shaking, Emily rushed to the front door and opened it. A police officer stood on the porch, his flashlight cutting through the rain. "We received a call." "Is everything all right?" he asked. Emily, still terrified, tried to explain what had happened, but her voice was shaky. The officer stepped inside and looked around. Everything seemed normal. He searched the house thoroughly, but there were no signs of anyone else inside, no broken windows, no forced entry, no trace of the figure. "Sometimes when we're alone, our minds can play tricks on us," the officer said gently. "But I'll check everything just to be sure." After checking every room, the officer found nothing unusual. Emily thanked him as he left, but she knew what she had seen. Something had been in the house with her. She locked the doors and windows and retreated to her bedroom, still shaken. As she lay in bed, trying to convince herself that it was all over, the house fell into silence once more. But just as Emily started to drift off to sleep, she heard it again. A soft, deliberate creaking coming from upstairs.